Okay, imagine feeling completely trapped in a 9 to 5 job you literally hate. You're taking home a $55,000 salary, and you're just sitting there wondering, is this really all there is? Now picture completely flipping that script and building a net worth of over $100 million. I mean, it sounds like the plot of a Hollywood movie, right? But that is the actual reality for entrepreneur Natalie Dawson. And here's the best part. You don't need some kind of magic trick to bridge that massive gap. You just need a solid plan. Today, we're exploring her incredible journey and the 10 millionaire habits she credits for her massive success. Welcome to The Explainer. As we dive into this material, we're going to take those 10 millionaire habits and synthesize them into a highly structured, step-by-step action plan. So if you've been searching for a practical, real-world way to break out of the mundane and build some serious wealth, you are in the exact right place. Let's look at how we're going to break this whole thing down. Here is our roadmap out of the 9 to 5 trap. We're covering 5 phases. Phase 1, find your millionaire skill. Phase 2, curate your ultimate environment. Phase 3, invest and get in proximity. Phase 4, sales and millionaire math. And Phase 5, stay hungry for success. Let's jump right into it. Phase 1, find your millionaire skill. So to find that skill, you have to pinpoint an occupation where people actually make $1 million a year. You really have to ask yourself, what does a millionaire know that I don't know? Natalie uses this brilliant, super straightforward approach for this. She literally calls it the Google that shit mentality. You go online, you search for occupations of millionaires, and you'll find things like lawyers, engineers, real estate agents, entrepreneurs. But once you have that giant list, how do you actually pick? Well, you turn this massive life decision into simple data. You rate your personal interest level on a scale of 1 to 5, and then you honestly assess your existing knowledge. When Natalie mapped this out, she realized, hey, I'm not great at math, and there is no way I'm going back to school for a prolonged degree. So based on her high interest and the skills she already had, she chose entrepreneurship. It was simply the fastest, most logical path for her. You've got to use a grid just like this to find yours, commit to it, and decide right now to become great at it. Phase 2, curate your ultimate environment. Once you've got your target locked in, curating your ultimate environment requires a ruthless audit of who you spend your time with and exactly how you're spending your free time. Because honestly, if your environment is keeping you stuck, your skills just won't matter. You have to watch out for time and energy vampires. Yeah, this includes the Netflix binges and the endless doom scrolling, but the absolute worst vampires? Broke friends. When Natalie decided to build her business, she excitedly told her friends, totally expecting their support. But instead, they made fun of her. They asked these condescending questions and completely ignored her excitement just so they could get back to their usual complaining. Look, your energy is finite. If your broke friends constantly invalidate your new goals, they will drain the exact energy you desperately need to build your new life. You have to be willing to let them go. And nature abhors a vacuum, right? So when you cut out those unsupportive friends, you have to replace them with what Natalie calls rich teachers. I absolutely love this reframe. You need to identify the top 10 most successful people in your specific chosen field and just study them obsessively. For Natalie, that was Grant and Alina Cardone. She studied them because they had the proven stats, they were this unstoppable power couple, and they have a literal billion-dollar net worth. She wanted to know exactly how to become the kind of person that Alina Cardone would actually want to sit down and have a cup of coffee with. But here's the catch. How do you study these titans if you're working a full-time, demanding job? Well, you stop wasting time. You leverage your mornings, your evenings, your weekends, your miserable daily commute, heck, even your time in the shower to build competency. You consume podcasts, YouTube videos, and books during literally every single off hour you have. If you want to be a millionaire, you must become a true, undeniable expert in your field. You have to know the terms, you have to know the key players, and you have to understand exactly how the game is played. Phase 3, invest and get in proximity. Now, this is arguably the most uncomfortable phase for most people. This is the moment where you have to start spending money, sometimes money you feel like you don't even have, to get yourself into the right rooms. This quote perfectly captures the necessary mindset shift. Grant Cardone says, if you don't invest time and money, you will never have time and money. Natalie actually shares this crazy story of being at an event and being offered a marketing course for $4,000, and she completely panicked. She didn't have the cash, massive self-doubt crept in. We've all felt that immediate sinking feeling of imposter syndrome, right? But then she realized something absolutely crucial. Staying stagnant and remaining unknown was way riskier than making the investment. So she went all in. Because going into debt for the right knowledge forces you to level up and become a completely different version of yourself. So the real trick here is to commit to your future self. You do this by booking conferences and buying tickets to big events 3 months in advance. Why 3 months? Because, as Natalie puts it, right this second, you might not have anything of value to offer the high level players in that room. But if you book it 3 months out, you give yourself a hard, non negotiable deadline to actually create something: a landing page, a new offer, a project. You literally force yourself to become someone valuable in the process of preparing for that event. And obviously, you don't just show up to the room hoping for the best. You follow the ultimate stalker steps, and I mean the good, informed kind of networking stalking, not the creepy kind. Before the event even starts, you find out how the attendees are communicating. Is there a pre-event WhatsApp chat or a Facebook group? Join it immediately. Research the key players beforehand. Because let's be real, the goal of a networking event is not to just awkwardly pass out your business card to every single person hovering around the buffet table. The target is to find the specific handful of people who can genuinely help you get to where you're going. Phase 4, sales and millionaire math. So now that you are in the room and you've built the skills, making money is ultimately a game of knowing how to sell and understanding the raw numbers behind your goal. Let's start with sales. Regardless of whether you chose lawyer, engineer, or entrepreneur back in phase 1, you have to learn how to sell. You're selling yourself, your services, and your vision to future team members every single day. But rule number 1, you absolutely must get sold on yourself first. A lot of people think sales is braggy or manipulative, but it's really not. It's simply about listening to problems and offering effective solutions. But listen to me on this. If you don't deeply, truly believe in your own solution, you're going to feel like a total fraud, and you won't be able to sell anyone on anything. Once you conquer sales, you apply it to what we call millionaire metrics. This is such a huge light bulb moment. When you realize that becoming a millionaire isn't about wishing upon a star or getting lucky, it is literally just reverse math. You have to look at the units, the products, or the services you sell, and calculate exactly how many of those you need to move to generate $1,000,000. It completely demystifies the entire seemingly impossible process. And that builds into an incredibly clear, laser-focused target: $2,740. If you make this exact amount every single day, mathematically, you will be a millionaire in a year. By breaking your massive, intimidating goal down into a daily target just like this, you know exactly what you need to be doing when you wake up each day. It removes all the messy emotion and replaces it with pure execution. Phase 5, stay hungry for success. Okay, so you have the skills, you've curated the environment, you've built the network, and you know the math. But guess what? You are still going to hit roadblocks. It's an inevitable part of the game. Maintaining the psychological stamina to push through those walls is exactly what separates the dreamers from the actual millionaires. Natalie has this incredibly powerful daily grounding technique to handle this. She looks at her vision board, which represents her massive potential and exactly where she is going, and then she immediately opens up and looks at her current bank account, which represents her current reality, and she just goes back and forth between the two. You have to remind yourself every single day that compared to your potential, you're still broke. Your current circumstances just haven't caught up to your vision yet. Keeping that massive gap right in front of your face prevents you from getting comfortable, and it ensures you never give up in the messy middle of the process. So we've walked through the blueprint together. You know how to find your skill, audit your environment, invest in your proximity, run the math, and stay hungry. But none of this matters without taking action. So I want to leave you with this final provocative thought. Are you actually willing to force yourself to become a completely different person a year from now? The entire gap between that $55,000 salary and the $100 million net worth is built on the daily choice to intentionally outgrow who you are today. So, what is the very first step you are going to take right now to start building your new reality?